NBC5 News at Sunrise starts now.
Today is Tuesday, November 13th. Here's your first look at today's NBC5 News at Sunrise.
We have eyes on the vegetation fire. It's going to be very difficult to access. Camp Creek Road is nearly inaccessible.
The deadliest wildfire in California history continues to burn. What firefighters are doing to help contain the flames. Then,
it's no fun reading about somebody who's perfect. You want to read about people that you can identify with because we've all got problems and we're all flawed.
This morning, fans are remembering a comic book legend, what they're doing to honor the life of Stan Lee.
and some people may think it's too soon to get in the holiday spirit, how new technology is reinventing how we watch Christmas lights.
Your NBC5 News at Sunrise starts right now. Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for waking up with us. I'm Kyle Averman.
And I'm Allison Ross. So we are starting off with some wildfire news. CAL FIRE has posted this map to its page, and it's a reminder that when disaster strikes, there are massive amounts of help from all across the country.
Now you can see on the map about 17 states in total, as far away as Georgia, Tennessee, Indiana, all traveling to fight the fires in California. Of course, we'll have the very latest on that in just a moment. But first, we want to get a check of the local weather with meteorologist Matt Jordan. Hey there, MJ.
Kyle, Allison, good morning. Good morning, everyone. We're just continuing the trend today. A little bit different, though. We have more cloud cover out there. It's doing an interesting thing right now. It's a little bit colder out on the coast, even getting close to frosty conditions in Crescent City early this morning. But overall, just by a degree or two, but still a change, we're a little bit warmer in areas further inland. More 20s than teens this time east of the Cascades, more 30s than 20s as you look at the West Valleys compared to what we saw yesterday. That's mainly because we got a lot of cloud cover out there. It's mostly thin cloud cover, but it's enough to keep us just a little bit warmer this morning. Even so, with that same cloud cover, we don't warm up as quickly. This is more of a gradual curve, as you see for the Medford area, but this is a similar trend just about everybody's going to follow, from the 30s to the 40s to the 50s, close to the mid 60s by about 3 or 4 p.m. Checking out your wind speeds right now, you can see for the most part calm, but they've been picking up in areas like Weed in the Shasta Valley. I'm watching that specifically because it's still very dry out there in Northern California, and we're seeing some higher winds out of the south. And with those high winds out of the south, we're also seeing the potential for some smoke and haze from fires in Butte County and even further to the south, making their way further to the north. Otherwise, you can see plenty of cloud out there. It's thin cloud cover, but for the most part, it is helping to regulate things just a bit, keeping us a little warmer in the morning, a little cooler in the afternoon. Otherwise, pretty typical conditions to what we've seen just about all week. Back to you.
Matt, thanks so much. Our top story this morning, fire officials say the so-called Camp Fire in Northern California is now responsible for 42 deaths. That makes it the deadliest wildfire in the state's history. That blaze, which started on Thursday morning, has burned 117,000 acres and is 30% contained. It's also destroyed more than 7,000 structures. And in Southern California, the so-called Woolsey Fire has claimed at least 2 lives. That blaze has burned over 90,000 acres and is 20% contained. This morning, investigators in Butte County are looking into reports that a utility company may be at fault for sparking that campfire.
That's right. A report from PG&E explains that the company experienced an outage on a transmission line in Butte County at 6:15 a.m. shortly before the campfire started. That's according to CAL FIRE officials. The report also said PG&E noticed a tower on a power line that was damaged just a mile northeast of where the fire began. PG&E are cooperating with state investigators right now, and the official cause hasn't yet been determined. As investigators continue to search for clues, CAL FIRE is receiving local help from the Rogue Valley. The Rogue Valley strike team was dispatched to the campfire 4 days ago and is currently working in the town of Paradise, conducting search and overhaul operations. The strike team is comprised of several agencies from both Jackson and Josephine counties. Crews are expecting to be assisting the area for another 2 weeks.
And so far, 15 Red Cross volunteers from Southern Oregon and Southwest Washington are deploying to California. The teams include people from Medford, Grants Pass, and Gold Beach. They'll be providing shelter, food, and comfort for the thousands who were forced to leave their homes with only a moment's notice.
There has been an incredible outpouring of support here locally for people devastated by the fires in California, and many of you have asked how you can help.
But the United Way says those donated items may just end up back at your home. Since only 30% of the campfire is now contained, most residents have nothing but what they left their home with. Right now, it's just too soon to tell what these victims actually need besides emergency housing.
In the immediate need, we know they need medicine. We know they need to stay warm. We know they need to stay housed and sheltered and be taken care of. And that's what groups are trying to do right now.
you would like to help the victims of the Camp Fire, here are some of the places you can donate. GoFundMe has created a full list of verified campaigns raising funds to help those impacted by the fires across California. You can find a GoFundMe. You can find that at gofundme.com/cause/California fires.
Your time right now is 6:35. Developing this morning, Medford police are investigating the death of a man whose body was found near the Bear Creek Greenway. Police were called to the scene late yesterday afternoon near Biddle and Stevens. Medford PD aren't commenting on the investigation right now, other than saying that the person has been identified as a man and his body was found in a ditch. The Oregon State Forensic Team is also helping with that investigation. And following up this morning, residents have started a memorial for 5-year-old Olivia Chapman, who died from an apartment fire earlier this month in Medford. This is the scene outside the Cedar Tree apartment complex. People who live in that same apartment complex have started lining the fence up with stuffed animals, flowers, even cards. Neighbors telling us that they are saddened and Olivia will be greatly missed. According to the family's GoFundMe page, Olivia was placed on life support on Saturday before passing away later on. The cause of the November 2nd fire is still under investigation.
The news of Olivia's passing has also reached the Medford fire rescue crew that put out that fire. Speaking on behalf of the firefighters that pulled Olivia and her sister out of that burning building, Deputy Chief Justin Bates says they're dealing with this news in the hardest way.
Sad and tragic thing for everybody, and them included. They get personally and emotionally involved in these calls, when they are needed, and so it's hard on them. We feel a little bit of burden, on ourselves that we weren't, there's always those questions, were we able to do maybe just a little bit more?
Last week, Olivia's sister, 3-year-old Amelia, came to visit the crew that saved her, giving them hugs and cookies. Another death has many people saddened on a national level. Stan Lee, the man who created much of the Marvel Universe, died yesterday at the age of 95. Lee created some of the greatest superheroes in the world of comic books, like Spider-Man and Iron Man. Those characters are now a staple in the film industry. He published his first work in 1941, the filler story in Captain America Comments. In the 1960s, he created the characters the Fantastic Four, Thor, Doctor Strange, and X-Men.
Well, to remember him, comic book fans gathered at his star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Mourners laid flowers, candles, and pictures of their favorite Stan Lee creations at his star. The comic giant was taken by ambulance from his Los Angeles home to the hospital yesterday morning, where he later died. The cause of his death is still not known.
6:37 new this morning, an Oregon nonprofit that helps people in crisis has expanded to serve the National Veterans Crisis Line. Lines for Life will serve as a sole backup call center for Veterans Administration Crisis Line program, and the need is great across the entire country. They get 800,000 calls a year.
We lose 22 vets a day to suicide. The reality is we need to stand up for our vets just like they stood up for us. The Veterans Crisis Line and our work with them is a down payment on that work.
Anyone in crisis can call 1-800-273-8255 or the word TALK and press 1 for military. 6:38 is the time right now on this Tuesday morning. Let's send it over to meteorologist Matt Jordan. Good morning, Matt.
Allison, Kyle, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Plenty of cloud cover out there, as you can see. It's not thick cloud cover overall. It's doing one thing pretty well. It's keeping us a little bit warmer in the West Valleys, Northern California, east of the Cascades. A little bit cooler out on the coast, which was interesting, but not quite freezing temperatures there. A little cooler freezing east of the Cascades with 20s and teens, but it's more 20s than teens that we saw, more teens in single digits yesterday. Checking out your coast forecast for today, pretty much just the cloud cover. That's about all there is to report. We were looking at our highs right around 60 degrees or so, partly cloudy later tonight with your lows in the 40s. In the West Valley is also a partly cloudy and mostly cloudy skies kind of day. A little more sunshine as we head in the afternoon, of course, with some areas of fog possible, especially in Douglas County. Your highs about 60 to 65 degrees, but also starting to see some smoke and haze. I'll explain this a little more in my full forecast, but we're seeing some winds out of the south. Also to the south happens to be those fires, especially in Butte County. And east of the Cascades, partly cloudy, also seeing the potential for smoke and haze with mostly clear skies and your lows in the teens and 20s again late tonight. Back to you.
Matt, thanks so much. 6:39 is the time right now on this Tuesday morning. NBC5 News at Sunrise is just getting started. Coming up, a government shutdown could be in the near future. What two things could stand in the way of a budget deal?
And Woody and Buzz have a new friend who's in the new Toy Story movie.
Very exciting, but we'll be right back with more news and weather coming up.